Hello all, this is Bleedies, and I'm here to bring you the second match of the best of three between Risky Business and Team Nom. And they're going to do their drafts right now, and the last game, Risky Business did have quite a bit of success with Tyrande, so it is surprising that they banned Tyrande now. And Team Nom does ban Zagara, even though they were the ones who picked Zagara last time, so interesting strategy here. But they want to make sure that they think both of those heroes are really strong, especially in this map, Battlefield of Eternity, and so they're going to ban them. And Team Nom does first pick Muradin. Muradin was picked last game, was banned last game, I should say. So it does look like Team Nom may actually favor Muradin, and Risky Business did know that, so they did manage to ban Muradin that last game. But now Team Nom is getting to play with Muradin, so we'll see how they fare with that. Risky Business opting to actually take Jaina and Raynor, their first two picks of the draft, so obviously valuing the amount of damage that they possibly can get, and so they think Jaina and Raynor are the best people for that job. So, interestingly enough, just kind of leaving themselves open to seeing how Team Nom is going to pick / ban to maybe punish them for picking two DPS characters to start, but basically to kind of counter that, they're going to say, you know, we're going to take the two of the best heroes in the game currently in Kael'thas and Falstad. Kael'thas has Chain Bomb at level 13, which just completely changes the game, and his stun is just one of the best things you can get as a DPS and is great as a counter engage or to help you engage. Falstad, of course, having Mighty Gust and having that great sustained auto attack damage. Mighty Gust has definitely won a lot of team fights, and we've seen in the amateur scene they're not afraid to use it aggressively. We'll see Falstads fly behind people to try to gust them in their team to set up combos. So definitely a really strong hero, a really strong pick. So we're going to see what Risky Business is going to try to ban out here, and I would think that they'd maybe want to try to ban out possibly a healer that they do not want to see with this comp, or just a healer they don't enjoy playing against quite a bit. But they could also possibly ban another damage dealer that they also do not want to see, and that'll be Thrall, which is a good ban because Thrall is just a really strong hero in this meta. Thrall has really great attack damage. He's really good at taking down the Immortals on Battlefield of Eternity, and just in general, his Sundering, his amount of damage, and his scaling are just, he's such a strong hero, and it's evidenced by how much he's picked on the competitive scene. So banning out Thrall, and I'd imagine here, since they have Muradin, they might want to ban out probably a frontline here, one that they prefer not to play against. Risky Business did play a really great ETC last game with some really clutch mosh pits as well as some really clutch dashes, and sure enough, they are going to ban that ETC. I'm not surprised by that. If you know that the other team is really skilled and they really highly value ETC, if you can ban them as your second ban, you might as well do it. There's no reason to let Risky Business have that great front line. So we're going to see what Risky Business is going to take here. I honestly think it'll probably be a Diablo for their front line. And no, they actually opt to go with Johanna. Johanna, you know, is one of those heroes that when you hear about things on the competitive scene, some people think she's just not completely viable anymore, that she's not that she's weak, she's just, there's lots of better options out there in terms of CC and control, but there are other people who are just really skilled at playing Johanna, and they enjoy playing Johanna, and they find her just to be really strong. So, interesting pickup here, does help with wave clear, does help with control, and you know, Blessed Shield is just a great tool for making sure to initiate team fights on your own terms, or disengage on your own terms. So not a solid pick. I actually love Johanna myself. I was just surprised to see her picked, and I'm happy that she's being picked, but we'll see how effective Risky Business can be in picking, using her. And they do pick up a Rhaegar, which Rhaegar has, in maybe the past 3 or 4 weeks, been picked up a lot on the competitive scene, which, you know, for a while Rhaegar was just considered weaker than all of the really big healers like Medic, Morales, Uther, because he didn't really have CC. But you know, when you're going against Kael'thas and you have tons of heals and your AoE heals that scale around the same time that he does get that chain bomb, you can see how that is a very powerful hero to try to counteract that. But really what makes the Rhaegar really great is timing of ancestral heals. So we're going to have to see how good Risky Business's Rhaegar is going to be at timing his heals, and obviously if they are picking Rhaegar, they practiced it and they're really confident, but it's really going to save them a lot from the Falstad and Kael'thas burst. So I would not be surprised here to possibly see Uther. Team Nom did pick Uther last game, and they do love to play Uther, and he's a really strong hero. But I also would not be surprised to see Medic, who's really made a resurgence in the meta and is considered to be one of the strongest healer picks right now. But really, right now for their team, basically Meridan's the only ones in the front line, so probably not. And they do pick up the Uther because they, like I said, they just really love the Uther. And for their last pick, I'm going to be interested to see what happens, and it's going to be Vala. So they have, once again, Kael'thas with his Chain Bomb, Vala with Strafe, and Falstad for that sustained damage slash gust to engage or disengage. So they have a lot of damage on their team, that's for sure. And between Kael'thas and Vala, they can easily wipe things out. And we have an Artanis pick. I'm really excited about this. I have not seen him played very often in the competitive scene at all. He obviously has really strong auto attacks, and he's gotten a lot better with the way his E is used now at earlier levels since he's been buffed. But even then, people still haven't picked him up. So it's going to be really great because, I mean, he's obviously going to be hard to kill the higher level that he really gets, and Rhaegar is going to be able to sustain him even more. So they have a really beefy line, and they're going to use Jaina and Raynor. The only question is, with so little CC, but I did say this last game, with so little CC, how are they going to be able to control Team Nam? But last game, they were able to just make sure that they dictated the way the fights were going, and it did not matter. They did not have a ton of CC. So it's going to be really interesting, to say the least, and I'm absolutely excited because I think that he's going to be great here, especially with the auto attacks of Vala and Falstad with that ultimate that can blind them for so long. And we are just getting in the lobby, folks, so we're going to see right now it is 1-0 in favor of Risky Business, but we're going to see if Team Nam can pull this around and see if they can really, you know, win this game. And I think they can. I really do. They played really great on that map. They just had a little bit of a you know, the ending wasn't quite what they wanted, and if it could have gone either way. So we're going to see exactly what Team Nam is made of here. This is the finals. This is something that they definitely don't want to just lose in the first round here, so I expect them to go above and beyond what they did the last game and push it to a game 3, but you know, we will see, because Risky Business is no pushover, and they do smell blood in the water, so I would not be surprised if they also go for the kill. Really? So it sounds like I'm just kind of wishy-washy here, and I don't know who's going to win, but I'm just excited that Artanis is in the game, folks. He's one of my favorite heroes. I have like a 70% win rate on myself, even though, you know, I've only played like 4 games with him, but let's not count the number of games. But I'm just pretty hyped myself, and you always know the games are great whenever the caster is hyped. So we will just be starting here very shortly, just waiting for everybody to ready up, and we will get this second match in best of 3 between Team Nam and Risky Business started very soon. Okay, and we are starting the game here now. And on the left here, on the blue side, we do have, once again, Risky Business. And they have Rhaegar is Frustrated, Cooler is on Raynor, Timmy is on Artanis, James Franco is on Johanna, and Peach is on Jaina. And on the right side, we have Team Nam with Wrath on Vala, Zugrug on Meridan, Dayan on Uther, Kachi on Kael'thas, and Red Panda Love on Falstad. So let's get this game started. On this map, you're probably not going to see those tower pushes really happen on those empty lanes because it's a 2-lane map, and they're probably going to be prepared for that. But no, it does look like Team Nam is immediately going to start that. But luckily, Risky Business does immediately go down the counter to make sure they don't actually lose that early tower. So really good rotation, really good knowledge here from Risky Business to make sure that they aren't going to lose a tower to any of that corny cheese stuff that's going on here. Not that it's really just cheese, it's just nobody actually really finds it fun. I don't even think the people playing in the competitive scene find it fun. So right now we do have just everybody here, 4-man versus 4-man down bottom, and Johanna and Falstad competing for top here. Which, interesting matchup here, because obviously Falstad seems like he'd do more damage, but James Franco has so much more sustain there, so you see how he can push Red Panda Love really far out here. But really the real game starts when those first Immortals are going to spawn, and the timing of the camps are going to be taken on this map. Tammy does get stunned right after that, does get knocked out by Kel'Thas, does get attacked by the Blizzard as well, and does get down to like 10 HP, but luckily does get saved. Really close there, and that's the danger of Artanis, just using your dash kind of for no really specific reason. If you don't have a good reason to do it, you do risk on the return back of getting stunned, because you will automatically return to that spot. And really great by Team Nam and Kachi, especially for making sure to capitalize on that. But Risky Business does manage to recover, and Timmy is back at full health, so no loss here really. The experience is relatively even between these teams, as you'd expect these two top teams to be competing against each other now. So now we're going to see what's going to happen here. Muradin is kind of just weighing and seeing if he wants to maybe gank somebody here at this Immortal. We're going to see if Team Nom's going to be aggressive here, and it does look like they are, and they are going to try to put as much damage on here with Vala, Uther, and Kel'Thas, while that Muradin is trying to zone here for his own Immortal here, but they do have more committed to this Immortal here top, and it does look like they're kind of going down evenly, but Risky Business is going to do more damage and get that Immortal down a little bit faster than Team Nom, but really, really close race here, and it's going to see where these Immortals spawn, and the red does spawn in favor for Risky Business, so Risky Business is right on top of it. Muradin's trying to be as disruptive as possible, but he's got to make sure he doesn't get himself caught out in a bad position. And really, this is just a huge race, but Risky Business is going to end up winning it. But all in all, the experience is relatively even, and this first Immortal is not really that strong, and it doesn't have that big of a shield. So Team Nam playing it as safe as possible, not wanting to risk getting killed, as well as losing out on those Immortals and losing that experience, and possibly getting it to be really stronger. So really smart move in my opinion, with Risky Business making sure that they're going to, while the Immortal pushes the other lane and gets killed pretty fast, getting at least these two towers here to try to push them up to the experience advantage. And that's what you want to do on this map, is make sure you really get those other lanes that the Immortal's not in, and force them to really respond and react to you so you can be in control. Timmy taking a ton of damage here, but really positioning well to make sure that he's not going to be picked off here. Muradin kind of following Timmy, seeing if he can get that stun off. The dash does go off, but really does put himself in a bad position. Luckily, Raynor does push him away. That's dash. Timmy's going to give me a heart attack in this entire game using those dashes like that, because whew, you can end up on the wrong end of a lot of things on the return thing. But luckily for him, his team does know how the ability works and how the mechanics works, obviously, and they are protecting him quite well. Looks like they're going to try to start maybe a little bit of a battle here before this top siege camp up here, but I'm not sure who's going to commit to it right now. It does look like they're just seeing if Team Nom's seeing if maybe somebody gets out of position. But James Franco says, you know what, I'm not falling for that. I know you're over there in that bush, and I'm not going to just do something stupid. I'm going to make sure that we're in the right position to succeed. Very, very good map awareness there by James Franco. While we have Peach versus Red Panda Love here, just kind of pushing towards each other. And really, it's kind of interesting because they're just not going to get this camp. Nobody seems to be moving for this camp. But Artanis is making sure that he's getting this Bruiser camp here, because with his passive, he's able to actually get this quite effectively. But Muradin, knowing that there's no Artanis anywhere, is trying to see, but they do back off too. It's kind of really just a game of who's going to go and commit to one camp first, and it doesn't look like anybody is going to do it. Finally, it looks like maybe Team Nom's going to just come down and commit to bottom, and they will, wasting it a lot of time kind of with nobody doing anything, and Artanis does get that camp, so they do have that pressure going in that lane. And Chaina kind of being really dangerous here, going to poking, going to back off wisely, because if she had went in a step further, that Muradin would have stunned her and she would have been completely toast. Once again, just love the amount of map awareness that these teams have to make sure that, yes, they're going to make sure they have vision of the enemy team, make sure they know, hey, we know where you're at, but at the same time not make any stupid decisions. So we have this camp down here pushing bottom, as well as the camp pushing here top, and it does look like that Team Nom does have the favor in the amount of push here. they are doing a lot of damage to Timmy, but he's just going to get away. He does switch up the Muradin, kind of puts himself in a bad position by doing so, and he does get stunned by the Uther. He's taking a ton of damage, but he's managing away, but about 10 HP. He does get healed by Rhaegar. Muradin does have to jump away, but Jaina's right there in front of him, and it does look like Jaina's going to be able to take him down. Johanna does finish him off there, and Uther looks like he's going to be lost as well. Timmy's kind of low, but he's still proccing that passive, so he's still staying alive. So far they've traded 2 heroes for none here. That is really a strength of Artanis here, is that he's able to just bait people because his health is so low, but when his passive procs, he's able to just say, you know what, just kidding, you guys are all about to die now. And while they're doing that, the camp did not do that much damage bottom, as James Franco and Peach were able to rotate while the Immortals were switching places. So they're kind of low on mana here. We're going to see what Risky Business is going to do here, and they look like they're just going to go for finishing this off right here at the right moment. Timmy does take a bomb to the face, and he does get stunned, and he does get killed immediately and blown up, and it's not enough. He didn't get the auto attacks for his passive off. Zugzrug is chasing, making sure he's zoning these people off there so they cannot get this, and he does jump ahead. Looks like he's going to get the stun on Peach. Peach is getting healed, but it is going to go down from the combination of Red Panda's abilities and Kel'Thas's bombs. Dien, Red Panda Love, and Wrath are going to stick around the damages, but Frustrated and Cooler are going to try to go up with James Franco and just finish this off, because even though they're going down, but ooh, they do get stunned. Raynor does get chain stunned by the Immortal and by the Uther, just in a really bad position here in 2 groups, and he does go down. Frustrated, however, is going to make it out of the way. They did get a little greedy there, but I thought it was going to work out just fine, but they just had a little too much, and Johanna, trying to retreat here, trying to get away, does get killed as well. Timmy trying to go and finish it off. Timmy does, but Timmy is going to go down for this. And we're going to see how much that is worth it, because yes, they are even EXP, but they did lose quite a bit there. So really, they really valued getting that Immortal. And you can see why, because I mean the second one's going to be a little bit stronger, and it does have that huge shield. So even though they are down 5 kills to 2, they're actually just about the same in EXP. And now they have this big fat Immortal here with a very great shield going and pushing hard. Really interesting to see that Risky Business is actually not going to push bottom and maybe try to get that and force that. They're going to go as hard as they can with this Immortal. Not sure I agree with this decision, but at the same time, it's probably the safer bet, as long as they don't overextend. And they do get that. They do get it quickly. They're probably going to back off here after they get this tower, I'd assume. And really, not having level 10 here, Team Nom is going to back off here. So Risky Business just going to stick around for quite a bit longer, making sure they can get these towers. And it does, you know, Hyperion does go out, making sure they do secure that tower. Well, Dank, no, that tower's going to survive with 10 HP, so, you know, Rainer's got to be a little unhappy about that. But, you know, it would have just been a little bit more extra EXP to push them into the lead. But they still do have control right now. And you see that Rhaegar has taken Ancestral Healing, Suppression Pulse, Blessed Shield, and Ring of Frost. Interesting, Ring of Frost, they don't really have a huge setup for that. James Franco has to use his Blessed Shield in order to stun him, but even then it's not a very long stun, so Peach obviously very confident that he can land that Ring of Frost, or at least try to zone people off. We have Strafe, Avatar, Divine Shield, Phoenix, and Mighty Gust, so your standard ultimate talents taken all around. Suppression Pulse taken instead of Laser, which I kind of agree with, because pro teams will begin to zone out. They do get gusted away, leaving James Franco and Peach in a very bad position. Vala is getting off Strafe, Peach is getting full healed, nice timed Ancestral Healing by that. Johanna's making sure he's body blocking, Artanis as well. Artanis taking a ton of damage. Artanis going on, making sure he's taking a lot of damage on it. Ooh, does use his dash and takes out the Vala from the back line. She did not see that coming at all. Very excellent use by Timmy to use that dash, and Uther is going to go down as well. They really need to retreat here because Red Panda Lund's going to take a ton of damage from Raynor, and he is going to go down. Uther's taking a lot of damage too, but he's going to be completely safe. Just completely over. They should have, at that point, Team Mom backed off after they got that kill, but they did not, and really, they punished them quite a bit with that. Thank you. And right now, it's just they're really able to turn this around, and we're going to see exactly how Team Nom is going to respond to that, because that was really a huge loss. It really was a great job by Timmy there to use that dash whenever Vala was not expecting it, and able to catch him at the edge of that range. Just amazing how that worked here. And you know, Lethal Clarity was picked, and you don't usually see that whenever I see a lot of people play Artanis, but it does increase the dash range, and that dash range was able to pick off that Vala. Really, really amazing play. It does look so now that Risky Business is trying to fall back a little bit on the defensive. They are kind of low on health. Timmy is got that shield on him from Rhaegar, which allows him to really be just up front impossible here. Zugrug does get attacked quite a bit. Knowing how much damage that Raynor can do to tanks at this stage of the game, make sure you're backing up. James Franco does pass out Blessed Shield. The Ring of Frost does go out. It does not hit anybody. James Franco getting stunned, making sure, but he has a ton of sustain. Timmy getting attacked. His passive does go off. It looks like everybody is safe, but it does look like Risky Business does trade a little bit better there because Kelthos is low. Vala is low. Vala's getting hit. Wow, Vala almost goes down from Hyperion. Manages to escape barely by a little bit of HP. Team Nom has to be really careful here. It looks like they sense that the game could be getting out of reach here. Raynor getting stunned by there. It does go down by Falstad. Timmy going down dashing. Raynor does go down, and it does look like Jaina is also going to go down as well. A little bit, once again, fighting under those immortals, those stuns going off, has been the bane of Risky Business, and the only thing that really misplayed in this game. Murden being very aggressive, knowing that Timmy is going to go back. He does get stunned, he does get the bomb on him, and he does go down from the Uther stun as well. Wow, what a play by Team Nom, capitalizing that and saying that, you know, they're down heroes, but we're going to make sure that we go and we extend this and try to make sure that we make this a game. Risky Business has just have to be a little bit more knowledgeable about where those stuns are going to pop and try to make sure that they're out of position when those stuns on the outside are going to pop up, because it's really costing them quite a bit here, even though they are ahead in this game. James Franco just sitting here trying to make sure that he's a little bit of a distraction, not really able to do much, and now the shoe is on the other foot and Team Nom is going to have something to pick up here. And it does look like we have improved Ice Block coming out for Jaina to make sure that she's a little bit safer here. Triple Strike going for Artanis, so and also double barreled, which is going to give penetrating around the second charge, which is going to go really great here for this Raynor. And what exactly is Risky Business going to do? They're actually going to see if they can gank from behind, and they do get the stun on it, and then, but the D shield does go down, and the Gust goes out to really stop Risky Business's plans here. They thought they had a really good gank, but they obviously, Falstad saw that coming and made sure that he was able to counter-engage that. Peach is getting a lot of damage, and Peach does manage to get Ancestral Healing and does do a lot of damage to Vala. Vala's managed to escape, go down. Chain Bomb is going out, though. Cooler and Frustrated are taking a ton of damage, and they do go off on each other's bombs, and they do go down. Artanis and Raynor and Peach still standing, so it is a 2-for-2 trade here, but all while they're doing that, the Immortal is pushing the lane, and Artanis does go down, so you can see how the advantage is going quickly, and the fly goes. Sorry, I had a little bit of sound technical difficulties there, and it does look like perhaps, you know, there are no keeps down here. Obviously, Risky Business is ahead of buildings right here, but Team Nom is still very much in this. Team Nom actually ahead in EXP right now. Really Risky Business here. Those D shields are really setting them off, as well as those stuns that we talked about under Immortals. So really you have to think about that positioning. And Timmy having a really solid game as Artanis, but also sometimes those dashes going out are getting really predicted by a stun-heavy comp by Team Nom. Team Nom making sure that they're taking this top camp so they have some presence of their own as well, but they're obviously going to have to go to the bottom and clear out that camp as well. But Risky Business kind of positioning here to either clear and maybe take somebody out. James Franco does get the bomb on him, but he makes sure he doesn't spread it to anybody else. And they're just kind of doing a slow push here. They want to see if they can get this building, if they can even up the structure battle here. And it does look like they're going to relatively do that very easily, as Risky Business does not feel like they want to engage, and it's not their strength to engage right now. But really, before these Immortals spawn, Team Nom is going to have to go and deal with that camp, and Falstad is flying right there just to do that. So right now, both teams looking to position themselves. Risky Business pushing out top lane to try to contest this next Immortal. And it's going to be quite the end of the ride here, folks. Team Nom knows that they have to win this game, so you have to believe they're going to put everything that they can into this next fight here so they can come out on top and push it to a Game 3. Zug going out on Timmy. Taking a ton of damage because, man, Raynor's just doing a lot of damage to any sort of tanky person right now at this stage of the game. Phoenix does go out, zoning out any potential damage, any potential protection that Risky Business is going to try to do right now. Timmy also at level 15, not quite 16 yet, but doing a ton of damage here, making sure that the blind does go out. They're going to back off and disengage here until they can get their up. Ring of Frost does go out, does hit Wrath. Wrath does get the perfect D shield, does have a little bit of health left. Rainer does get healed by his passive, but then he does get killed by Zugrug. Timmy going out, trying to retreat as fast as possible, taking a ton of damage. James Franco taking a lot of damage, frustrated as well, but he's backing up as well. He does get stunned by KT, and it does look like Timmy will go down. Yes, and it does look like Team Nom does win this fight as well again, and it does look like they're going to try to punish Risky Business by taking this Immortal as fast as possible. Wow, just the turnaround that Team Nom has been able to do. I looked at first at the beginning of this game that Risky Business was just going to take it to him completely and just win this in a 2-0 sweep. But Team Nom has just been executing in these team fights quite perfectly, just making sure that whenever that ultimate goes out, that they disengage. And man, the Divine Shields by Uther going out perfectly timing, making sure that that Vala does not die and is able to extend, stay longer, and deal tons of damage. It's just really amazing what they've been able to do this game, and it looks like they're gonna really push this top lane hard with this world and try to get the first keep of the game. Let's see exactly how Risky Business is going to do. They're not afraid to set up for a gank, as James Franco is setting up right now, but they do tell him to back off. They say, hey, we tried that before, it led us to do a lot of things. We need to play this safely behind the wall and just try to see what we can do from here and see if they get out of position at all, because we can't afford for us to go down, because at this point in the game, this Immortal is going to be so strong that if they manage to get a team wipe here, if they manage to get a couple of kills here, they will go down. And right now you can see that they know that. They're being super aggressive now. He does get the stun off on Rainer and on Johanna. And they keep going on here, and he tries to barrel roll away, but he does get stunned. He does gust them away. He's got a D shield around here, and it does look like all of Team Nom is going to be safe. They're trying to pile as much damage as they possibly can onto both James Franco and Timmy. Timmy is going to get stunned, and he does get down because he cannot trigger his passive. Peach taking a ton of damage from that. Wrath actually taking a lot of damage too. He doesn't have a D shield to give him. He actually does manage to stay up though with just a basic great positioning as well as Rhaegar heals. As well as Uther heals, and wow, it does look like Team Nom is going to take this game, and their GGs are going out, and it's going to go to a Game 3, folks. What a series so far. Red team is victorious. And while we're going to wait for the next draft, we can just discuss a little bit more about this and how this game turned around here. It really looked like Risky Business was just going to, like I said, just take it to them and just destroy Team Nom. But Team Nom just, their ability to just position correctly and use their ultimates effectively and in the right manner turned all of those fights. Uther's D-shielding was amazing that game. Vala's positioning to manage to stay alive multiple times with less than, like, it looked like 10 HP staying around really turned those fights. And you look at the hero damage and you see that Vala had 52k hero damage far and away, just dishing out all that damage even through a person that typically gets high damage like Rainer or Kel'Thas. Just those strafes with the D shield, making sure she was using this effectively, did tons of damage. So you have to think now exactly what Risky Business is going to do here, how they're going to respond. They really can't say that it's not anything too terrible, because obviously it is going to a next game, and we're going to take a little bit of a break here while we wait for the next game. Sorry guys, got the draft a little bit late here from the teams, but as we see, it's pretty much standard what's happening. Zagara, Jaina, Tyrande, Vala bans here coming out. I guess they got tired of seeing Vala and Jaina in both of those games, so they banned them out. Kael'thas, ETC, and Uther, really strong combo with lots of stuns going out from Risky Business right now. Obviously, Uther Divine Shield into an ETC Mosh here can be a really big play here. And then Muradin Falstad, which is just once again just two really strong heroes as well as Raynor. You just see the trend here. The same heroes have either been picked or banned in all these games, except for Artanis being the only lone one out. Coincidence that they lost that game? I wouldn't exactly say that, but some critics might say that of this meta, that it's just a very similar list of heroes. So, Team Nom does pick up Raynor. Another really strong hero for this, and Curse Hollow is just going to be really all about timing, Merc Camp's timing when we're going to take them to make sure that they're pushing while they're contesting for tributes. So really good comp that I think that Team Nom for picking up Falstad early, because that Bly can go all over the map. Very good map control. He can be pushing a lane, making sure, getting experience, and still doing his job. Team Nom does pick up Malfurion. Malfurion, I think, is just a really great healer now because, well, one, on this map, he's going to be able to poke quite well with Moonfire, and he has roots that he can use to set up lots of things from Muradin stun. But also, they buffed the amount that his basic healing does. So that's going to be, it's been a huge buff for him, and if you look on Hotslog, his win rate has gone up even just one day after he got that buff, because one of the things that Malfurion was missing was that he just did not have that burst healing. He did have that sustained healing. And you've seen teams work together with, a Tassadar to kind of cover up with that with some shielding and some healing. But Malfurion is definitely going to be, I think, you'll see in the future, a contested pick. And healers in general right now in this game are in a very good spot. But Malfurion, great, because he's going to be able to poke, and he has effective healing. So we're going to see how Risky Business is going to respond here with their next pick. They're going to go with Greymane! Oh my goodness, folks, a Greymane match, and this is a treat. I don't know if on the main stream right now, if Greymane would be being picked or anything like that, but if not, this is the first time that we've ever seen Greymane pop up in the next verse tournament, and I was hoping that was going to happen. I saw Uther, I assumed that the Thrall was going out because Thrall wasn't getting banned, but Greymane is getting picked up, and I am officially so hyped right now. Like, I've been waiting to see Greymane being played by people who are super skilled, and Risky Business are really great, and they are going to go for Sylvanas, a very good person to do this, so a good laner for this game, and in general does very good just to push out the advantages. Sylvanas always a strong pick, and Leoric, so they do go for that double tank setup, so Greymane maybe not being able to do that much damage because they have a Raynor and a Falstad being the only really squishy targets, and Raynor with his E not being exactly the squishiest of targets, so possibly a really good thing. But Raynor and Muradin being the only thing to interrupt ETC, but Uther can throw on that D shield. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to end up working for them, because I'm excited, guys. This is game 3. It's 1-1 right now. Exactly how they're going to respond to this, and I'm just not exactly sure who's going to win this match here, because both the teams have really been excellent today and have been. Team Risky Business looked like they were going to run away with it. Team Nom came back and said, hey, we're not going to let you just stomp us into the ground. And then they came out looking like the dominant team in the second game. So I think it could go either way, especially on a map where two bosses exist and there's so many potential winning plays and throwing plays. It's going to be an exemplary match. I really am not going to try to make any predictions on this, because even though I technically kind of got it right by saying Risky Business and then Team Nom, I'll probably try to guess and just look really silly, but I'm just going to say that I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be excited. I think anybody who's watching this should be excited right now, because this is going to be an amazing game, and Greymane, come on, Greymane hype. Greymane the Great, Greymane the King. I played me a lot of Greymane since it came out, and he's just doing it, and some bantering going on in the chat right now saying that they want to buy Space Leoric, and I do too. I don't know if you've seen Space Leoric or any of the other skins that have come out in the latest Blizzard update. I'm really excited about those skins. I think both of these teams here are enjoying this match. I can tell by the little chat that's going on in the lobby here. So, an intense match, but people who have played each other and have scrimmed each other enough that they know that this game could go either way, and It's just about to start up, folks, so everybody get ready for this game 3 and a best of 3 between Team Nom and Risky Business. Right, so just kind of introducing some of them. We have Frustrated on Uther. We have Cooler on Hype Main. We have ETC, Timmy's on him, James Franco's on Kel'Thas, and Peach is on Sylvanas. And then on the other side, we have on the blue-red team, since Heroes is really weird as your observer, we have Kachi on Leoric, Wrath on Raynor, Zugrug on Muradin, Red Panda Love on Falstad, and Dion on Malfurion. And you can see that Red Panda Love and Zugrug are in the same heroes that they were in that last match that they did really great on and that they ended up winning. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how well, if they can just replicate that success on this map. It does look like with Sylvanas, they are going to probably choose one lane and try to push it down as fast as possible, because Sylvanas does have a unique advantage to making sure that she can push down a tower completely fast without taking any damage. But Team Nom sniffing that out really early, and they're probably not going to allow that very well. Really kind of risky place for Risky Business right here. None of them really get stunned though. Timmy doing a great job making sure he's staying behind and stunning. Frustrated taking a lot of damage, but he's going to be just fine. By just fine, I mean he's going to escape with 50 HP, but heck, in the realm of heroes, that's just fine enough to make sure that they keep the EXP the same and not give up any kills. So it looks like they are going to have that Greymane, Uther, and Sylvanas lane here to try to really push it hard, because they don't really have anybody that can really counter push that very well. I mean, they have this Leoric here, but Leoric can't. While he can't get rid of the waves, it doesn't matter because Sylvanas can stop those towers. And wisely, we see Raynor and Malfurion rotating down to save the towers before they officially go down. But they do take a ton of damage. We do have Timmy and Zugrug kind of fighting off here, and Muradin obviously does win that sustained battle, but just kind of duking it out, seeing who's the bigger man here. You know, I feel that's what you always do as warriors when you're going against each other. But now just a 3v3 down here, kind of minimizing any sort of ganking that's going to happen, and kind of making it a little bit of a stalemate here until the first tribute spawns, and then the first fight, and we'll see how people rotate amongst lanes. I would not be surprised to see if Risky Business decides to try to take some buildings while the first tribute spawns here. Frustrated, just kind of overextending a little bit, but nothing too safe. Doesn't get a rooted or another Raynor ability used on him. Kel'Thas really taking a lot of damage up here versus Red Panda Love, so he's having to be very careful here because Falstad can fly at any moment and just try to burst them down. But once again, just in all the other lanes, just kind of standoff, just kind of feeling each other out, see how the lanes will go. But they are putting a lot of pressure on Leoric here, but Leoric really doesn't care. I mean, even if he does go down, yes, it's going to give a small experience to them, and maybe a little bit of a silly move by Kachi, but he's going to be up so fast by the time the tribute spawns, it's not really going to matter and hurt them in the long run. But maybe it will if they do get this tower out of it. Greymane is making sure that he's poking, and he does look like he's going that cocktail build, which is going to be increases by range by 30 and refund 60 mana, and then increases the explosion length by 35%. Eventually you can make it where you can also cause it to explode every time you single-handedly throw it, and it'll end up start doing a ton of damage. So it's a really effective build. It adds quite a bit of poke. With Kel'Thas and Sylvanas, they're going to be able to do quite a bit of AoE damage to those heroes. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out and see what kind of ultimate he does go for. Most of the time you will see Greymane's, as far as I've seen, go for the throat because it's the more reliable ult and it's a good finisher. But I've also seen some people take the bullet ult. Timmy does see if anybody's getting out of position, does do a power slide, nothing too out of the ordinary though. Muradin making sure that he jumps away, positions himself to contest this tribute. And everybody's here except for Falstad right here, so Team Nom is kind of at a disadvantage right here. But Timmy is kind of going deep, he's taking a lot of damage. Falstad does finally get here, and Kachi does finish him off here. It does look like the sustain is going to be quite in favor in these early fights with the double tank comp. Of course, going in favor of Team Nom, so really Risky Business needs to kind of just retreat here. Maybe get a kill if somebody gets out of position. But Uther also going down. kind of unfortunate here. They lose 2 heroes to none on the side of Team Nom coming out on top. But like I said, it's just going to be until they get to level 10 and higher levels when they get those game-changing like ultimates and more damaging abilities. Having that double tank front line that you can toss hots on, they're just going to be able to outstain. And Uther's healing, while really strong and powerful, is just a spike healing, so they have to be really careful about who takes damage in these team fights and make sure that they don't go down unnecessarily. So 2 kills to 1 right now in favor of Team Nom. But still really at level 7, they're still on the same talent tier, so it's still anybody's game. Siege Camp was taken at that time, and it does look they will be getting the Bruiser Camp in response here, making sure that these camps will be pushing a little bit. Sometimes you'd want to wait a little bit longer, but they just want to get some early pressure in the lane and see if they can do anything. Really power sliding in the Muradin, but at that same time Muradin making sure he knows that he has his jump up at all times, so he's going to be able to escape easily. Now on the other hand, Kachi trying to push as hard as he can with these Siege Giants, pressuring Peach a little bit. And Sylvanas is going to have to hang out a little bit to clear this camp. Frustrated, Cooler going to help, perhaps, to try to clear these camps because they look like they're really out of position. And this looks like it's going to be honest, Team Nom's tribute by a mile. Because Sylvanas and everybody are still down here. So it doesn't look like Kel'Thas just got caught out, got rooted, going to get killed here. Once again, Risky Business is going to have to back off here. They're at a disadvantage. There's no reason to stay any longer. Zugrug making sure that they're zoning. Peach running straight into a Leoric, getting stunned, getting attacked by Falstad, but manages to get away using her E to escape. Really, though, even though they are getting these tributes, sticking around, getting that little bit of extra EXP, proving that Risky Business is a very disciplined team, sticking on the same level talent tier, even though now it does look like they got the slight advantage, and they will get to level 10 faster. However, it does look like Zugrug is checking the boss here. He's making sure that there's no sneaky plays going on, as they're not showing here. But really frustrating Cooler are just making sure they take that siege camp. And it does look like the Bruiser camp is going to be taken by Kachi and Deanne as well. Sylvanas kind of sitting here, but Red Panda Love sitting in the bush, seeing if you can get some extra damage, and Peach almost goes down. Just goes to show you that you cannot duel a Falstad. Falstad will destroy you if you try it. So we have Timmy up here pushing with Siege Camp. Wrath waiting on the wings here, also with Malfurion and Kachi. So we're going to see, I doubt they could really get Timmy here. They can't do that amount of damage, but they are going to make sure that they can try to get him as fast as possible. And he does power slide away, seeing that gank coming. Now, the third tribute is spawning, and it's very important that they do get this tribute. All the ultimates are out. We have Phoenix, Mosh Pit, Divine Shield, Go for the Throat, as I predicted, Wailing Arrow, March of the Black King, Hyperion, Avatar, Mighty Gust, and Tranquility. And Mighty Gust has already been popped. I did not actually get to see what happened. Timmy making sure stunning on Kachi, but Kachi does manage to get away. The arrow's kind of blown a little bit early there, so that's 2 ultimates down, right? That's 1 ultimate down, and 1 ultimate down as well on the side of Team Nom, so pretty much on the even sitting. Smosh has not gone out yet. Timmy going in, using his Mosh Pit, he does get 3 people, does get Malfurion, and he does get Falstad as well. Falstad is probably going to go down as well as this. Excellent Mosh Pit here. James Franco taking a ton of damage, though. Kachi wrecking that backline. Zugrug going down from Timmy and Cooler, though. And James Franco is getting chased by Leoric, but Leoric has to realize that even though he does get he's going to go down as well, so I'm not sure if that was exactly the best trade, but they are going to get this tribute here and possibly try to turn this around. Will they rotate, possibly, and maybe do a boss play? I'm not sure. They're all kind of low and weak, and Team Nom is respawning, so probably not. It looks like they'll just push out here. Kachi being aggressive, but as I've seen from his play so far in Leoric, I think all he knows how to do is be aggressive. I mean, we've seen him play some Thrall, and we know that he wants to get down and dirty and do the dirty work, so yeah, he did trade his life, but in the end, he did get that Kel'Thas and prevent them probably from possibly being able to get that boss if they healed up. It does look like that Team Nom is going to rotate and take a camp, which is really smart of them because they can create some more pressure while they try to get this third tribute for Curse. And really, Risky Business not really making use of it. Okay, now it looks like they see that they're responding just in an appropriate amount of time and is going to be able to do it. So they are going on it, and they're going to pick up their bruisers. So the pressure's on. Timmy has to be careful. They're rotating around. Tribute has spawned. And it does look like, once again, Team Nam is in the more favorable position to get ready for it to spawn. Timmy is really going to have to go all the way around to join his team because it's way too dangerous to go through here. But you know what? He has confidence that maybe his team will lure them away from him. But they're really zoning him hard right now. They're really focused on making sure he cannot get in this fight. And he is making it really risky by doing this. He's taking a ton of damage. So now finally he's going to rotate around while KT and Sylvanas and Greymane, who, by the way, excellent poke here. So he's making sure that they can't stand here. Just sitting here. KT does get stunned by Muradin. This is fine. Timmy going in. He does get the mosh pit. It's only a solo mosh pit though, but it is enough to get the Falstad out of the fight, and Falstad does go down. Once again, Kachi wrecking the back line here. Greymane does go down. It does look like James Franco is also going to go down. Shane Bomb going out. It does get Malfurion, but I mean, Malfurion is able to sustain with the possibility of his Q and his Tranquility. Peach having to try to run away, running for their dear life. Timmy trying to body block as well as he possibly can to get away, and he does help Peach escape. And Team Nam is going to get the first curse of the game. Spectacular team fights there. Once again, they try to just kind of play around Muradin and try to get the kills by doing other things here. But Leoric is just able to get to their backline since he's not having to focus on taking all that damage and being the solo tank, and is really doing a number on them. Peach doing the best that she possibly can here on Sylvanas to clear everything out, while Zugrug and the crew are just pushing mid to try to get this middle building, trying to get that advantage, trying to push their EXP advantage even further, which is they want to really try to get as far ahead as possible so that the next time that they get a curse or a boss or something like that, they can keep pushing and possibly win that game. So they are going to get middle here. Top is also getting pushed in here by Kachi by himself, but it doesn't look like maybe he'll be able to get it by himself unless they rotate. Really, it does look like Team Nam is kind of spread out all across the map. I don't know exactly what their plans are, if they're just trying to play it safe as possible, or if they're going to rotate the boss while they clear. It does look like they might, but they really want to not end their night on this. I'm making a mistake. And Kael'thas is just out of position, and he just gets obliterated. Really, with not seeing them on the map, there was no reason for him to be out there, and he was, and they made sure that he was punished on it with the stun into the root and to Raynor and to Kachi, and it was just game over. And that's going to make sure that this building does get taken. So really, they actually had made it quite well with them just roaming around and didn't let them take more than one building, but now they're going to get every single one of the buildings. So now Team Nam is at a very, very big advantage here structure-wise, and it is going to be Team Risky Business that is going to be on the back foot and trying to think about how they can turn this game around. Though I will say, they do have, the one thing they do is they do have more of the tributes now. They only need 2 to get a curse, and if they do that and maybe get a boss in turn as well, they can really go on that. Timmy going in there saying they want to gank of their own, and they do blow up Falstad. You can see the power of Greymane into those stuns, into Kael'thas, and to Sylvanas is just able to destroy any squishy. So while they do have a hard time killing the squishies with 2 frontliners with them, they did not have a hard time at all doing that. Timmy going in, making sure that he's doing as much damage as he can to Leoric, just chasing these people off, zoning them as well. Wrath making sure he's seeing if he can get some extra damage off. Risky Business having to back up, taking a ton of damage from Raynor's Hyperion there. Timmy is getting stunned here, taking a lot of damage from Raynor, and really they're just able to outrange Timmy. He's not able to get any good engages on there. Leoric does go down though, so now what will Risky Business here? They are kind of low on health. They do have the numbers advantage here. It doesn't look like they're going to actually try to fight. They're just going to back off. And Team Nam really confident in their team fighting abilities, chasing them off there. So even though they did come out ahead, Risky Business, not really able to come out so far ahead that they could push their advantage so much. But they are going to make sure that they rotate on boss. And I would assume that Team Nam knows they're going to rotate down and do boss, and I would not put it past them to do their own boss as well. And yeah, it does look like that's going to happen. And unfortunately for Risky Business, the curse is actually going to spawn right next to their boss as well. So it really did not work out for them. Trading bosses probably wasn't the best move there. You probably would have wanted to hang around and wait to see if you could catch them at their boss whenever they rotated on it with your ETC, maybe into a mosh pit or something like that. But it does look it's going to be a really, really hard trade here for Risky Business, because even though they did trade bosses, the amount of structures that Team Nam has means that their boss is going to be able to go directly to a keep here, while Risky Business's boss is only going to be able to go to this fort here, and maybe beyond, but not too much further. Risky Business, realizing that, is going to back off, of course, and try to do as much damage as to this boss as they possibly can, so it doesn't destroy their keep here and really, really put them far behind. See, but that's this map is such a huge thing in a lot of teams. Why they both like playing and both dislike playing it is it's such a huge map of decision making. Like with it being so big and so large, and not that many heroes having globals, just. Where do we do? Do we want to stay there? Do we want to get our boss? What do we trade here if we get this boss? And, you know, sometimes whenever it's just in the middle of the game, it's easy to make those calls when you're not playing, but in the heat of a battle, a best of 3, game 3, it's really, really difficult. But it does look like they're going to see if they're going to be able to contest this. They are on the same talent tier, so it's not like it's a huge disadvantage here, but Timmy really has to be able to get a really great mosh here if they're really going to have a chance in this team fight. And right now they've been really good at ranging it and making sure that they're just able to poke them off right now, which is ETC's one weakness right now in the meta. And they're doing a great job of it. Zugrug with a great flank. The silence does go out, but it really doesn't do much. Timmy and them all get blown into a corner, into the march. What an excellent play. He does go into the... And Raynor does walk into the D-shield, but it doesn't really matter because even though they got multiple people in the mosh pit, there was no way that they could damage him because the damage dealers were just being forced off. ETC does go down. James Franco is getting rooted, and he obviously is going to go down here. Peach is going to make it out alive because she's just got to run. There's nothing else she can do. And really, just a synergy from Team Nam, just working absolutely to perfection there. It's just when one tank is just able to sit back and peel, and then the other is able to just disrupt the backline so much. It's not even mattering that the mosh pits are well done, because the DPS just can't do anything about it. And really, it does. The first keep is going to go down here with Hyperion going down, Zugrug, and Wrath just attacking it. And now it's pretty much, it's going to be a now or never type of moment here in this next team fight or this next engagement or our next decision from Risky Business. Or they risk leaving here early tonight in the first round. Meanwhile, it does look like they're just kind of rotating here to push the lanes a little bit forward. But really here, what Risky Business has to do is they have to make sure they get some sort of pressure on the map, which I'm sure they're going to rotate and do their siege camp pretty soon. Hopefully, though, not to be caught out by Team Nam. But they really just, they have no choice here. Even though they're not going to get level 20 here, they're not going to be able to just give up a tribute, I don't think. Because if Team Nam does get that tribute, gets Curse, and gets just like one pick, it's game over. So they're in a tough position because they have to clear this camp. And it does look like Risky Business has to opt to say, you know, we cannot fight them at level 20. We just have to give them Curse, and we just have to push out as much as we possibly can. And that's what you see Sylvanas doing here, just saying, I'm going to push this lane out as fast as I possibly can because there's nothing really we can do. And right now, we look at the boss timers here. We have a boss respawning in 1 minute here, and a boss respawning in a minute. So, wow, False Dead goes out. The ultimate Gus tries to go out here, but he does get de-shielded, but Mosh Pit was interrupted, so it's not on full cooldown, but it did not get anybody at all, and Sylvanas does get drawn out, and Team Nam going for the throat, not even trying to hesitate here, knowing that victory is in sight, aggressive plays, and they are paying off, and it does look like, unless something crazy happens right here, they will be moving on to the semifinals. Just really great played by Risky Business too. It's just a few things did not go their way, and the double tank meta, not back necessarily, but a really effective choice here in the double tank meta and the way they do this. False Net gusting away, making sure they can just do a ton of damage to this here. Risky Business not calling GG here because they want to try to do as much as they can. It does have Mosh Pit, it does go on False Net does get melted. The core is though is at 20%, it's at 10%, and it's at 0%, and it is GG. Very good games, very great. Just wasn't quite enough by Risky Business, and it was a really great job by Team Nam. So, really just great all-around fantastic play. Risky Business has always been a really great team to see and watch in next verse, and they should never take anything bad from these games because they did a really, really great job. And man, congrats to Team Nom that will be going on to the semis, and we'll see how far they'll be able to make it.